Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Freaky Friday to all you freaks out there. I hope your day and your week are going well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. You guys are going to want to subscribe to the channel. We have so much great content coming out. Speaking of great content, my college football picks video for week 0 officially dropped last night. You see what I did there? See like how I did that little plug there? That's called experience. That's called experience, guys. College football week 0 picks video did just drop last night, so make sure to go ahead and check that out, along with all the rest of the great content on our channel between upcoming NFL content. We already have between Ev and myself all this great baseball content. We've both been killing it, and then Trey, but Trey has been crushing it with his WNBA picks content lately as well. So guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, you're just missing out on an opportunity to win a ton of money. We've given out free picks every single day across all sports here on the channel. Today is Freaky Friday, which if you are a subscriber of the channel, you would know is our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay, but we have a special parlay today. We have a 6-leg parlay for today's Freaky Friday video. But first, before we dive into today's video, guys, we do have to do a quick little recap of how we did last night. And if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, we had another solid day, 3-2 overall, including Aaron Judge, which, depending on the sportsbook you got it, was a plus money play. So 3-2 overall. We're now on a 25-9 run, like the thumbnail says, since last Tuesday. Over our last 8 videos, 25-9 run. We have been absolutely crushing it. We've been on the money. Again, would we have liked to have gone 5-0? Of course, in a perfect world, we go 5-0. But you know what? 3-2 is still a money-making day. We still cashed yesterday. So the good times just keep on rolling here. So let's see if we can't carry that momentum, continuing it into today's parlay. Now, I do have to tell you guys, I made this parlay more accessible. Of course, the point of today's video is for you guys to ride with the 6-leg parlay, but I understand that maybe not all of you want to do that. I will judge you a little bit if you don't want to ride with the parlay. Kidding. But, you know, the way I made it was that there's 4 picks in here that are minus 150 or less, so you can bet those as straight bets. Only 2 alternate lines that are over minus 150. So I tried to make this as accessible as I could, so the people who, of course, want it, who have some guts with them, who want to take the chance of the 6-leg parlay, can absolutely do that. But those who don't, who just came for a couple picks, the majority of the picks from the parlay, you can bet them as a straight bet without having them be a part of the parlay. Tried to make it as inclusive as I possibly could for everybody. So yeah, no more rambling. 6-leg parlay. Let's dive right in. All right, guys, jumping right into the Outlier screen. Shout out to Outlier for being the best sports betting tool on the market. There is a special link down below in our description that gives you guys a 7-day free trial to check it out for yourself. Guys, if you want to make money in the sports betting landscape, you got to have the proper tools to do it. And Outlier is truly the best sports betting tool on the market. It consolidates all the data, all the information that you need to make proper and smart sports betting picks, puts it all in one easy, convenient, and nice to look at place, to be honest. Like I said, link down below, 7-day free trial. Check it out for yourself. Shout out to Outlier for sponsoring today's video. All right, guys, so our first leg of our 6-leg parlay, we're going with a prop that I've now bet 2 days in a row, but I'm going to keep riding it until the wheels fall off. We got Rockies-Yankees, 7:05 p.m. first pitch. We got Aaron Judge here, over 1.5 total bases. Now, this parlay is going to be done on DraftKings, but again, a lot of these picks, including this one, can be bet straight, so you guys can obviously go ahead and take it on whatever sportsbook is available to you. We're going to be using DraftKings, though, here today for this, and on DraftKings, we're getting this for minus 140 odds, but you do see here it's available across multiple different sportsbooks for varying odds. And yeah, guys, the data has been fantastic. You see 9 of his last 10 games he's cashed the over, an average of 4.2 total bases per game, 3 straight games he's cashed it, and we've bet, again, the last 2 days, we bet the over. He's been absolutely crushing it lately. And that pun was intended. He has literally been crushing the baseball. With the last 20 games, a 70% hit rate for Aaron Judge, 14 of his last 20 games, an average of 3.15, total bases per game, and a 54% hit rate on the season for Judge. 68 out of 126 games this year, he has cashed the over with an average of 2.59 total bases per game. By the way, guys, if you are watching today's video, make sure to comment Freaky down below. Comment Freaky. It helps the channel grow. It brings more interaction. I want to see who's involved, who's watching today's video. So comment Freaky down below if you are with me here in today's Freaky Friday video. All right, insights provided by Outlier. Aaron Judge has exceeded 1.5 bases in 9 of his last 10 games, an average of 4.2 bases per game. I literally just told you guys that, but Outlier wanted to remind you one more time. Look at the key matchup stats down below. Aaron Judge versus Kyle Freeland. Kind of a small sample size, only 3 plate appearances since 2018. No hits off of, but again, such a small sample size, just 3 plate appearances. Not a ton to go off of there, but Looking at the matchup stats, Aaron Judge batting .334 overall this year. Versus left-handed pitchers, you do see a decrease to .308. But we talked about this the other day. It's still .308 is an incredible number. So yes, it is less than what his normal batting average is. It's still a great number. And the important thing here is that his ISO increases to .433, and his extra base hit percentage is at whopping 59.4%. Versus left-handed pitchers. So he's hitting it a little bit less, but he's hitting it harder off of left-handed pitchers. And look at Kyle Freeland. The numbers are practically the same across the board here. A slight increase, a slight decrease, but the majority of the story being that versus right-handed batters, over 300 batting average allowed, a whopping .510 slugging percentage, and a 33.8% extra base hit percentage allowed. It feels like we could see maybe another home run or maybe another double. Definitely an extra base hit of some kind from Judge here. I can feel it coming. He's on a really good run here. Again, 9 of his last 10 games. He has been red hot for the Yanks. I don't think that changes here in tonight's game. All right, guys, our next 3 legs of the parlay are all going to be strikeout props. They're pretty simple. All right, really good strikeout props at that. The first of those 3 strikeout props and the second leg of our 6-leg parlay, is Cubs Marlins 7:10 p.m. first pitch. We got Otto Lopez here of the Marlins over half a strikeout. This is actually a plus money play, plus 100 on DraftKings and BetMGM. Again, like I've been saying, I'll make sure to keep pointing out for the picks that you can bet straight. This can be bet individually straight, or again, if you are riding with the parlay, you can do that. But this is a bet that you can go ahead and bet on your own if you'd like. And the data is fantastic. Each of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over with an average of 1.2 strikeouts per game. Even the last 20 games, really good numbers. 17 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the over with an average of .95 strikeouts per game, an 85% hit rate, really fantastic. And so far in 2024, a 56% hit rate on the over, 44 out of 79 games this year, he has struck out for the Marlins. Looking at the key matchup stats down below, again, the insights provided by Outlier, it's the same thing we just said. He's exceeded over half a strikeout in 10 straight games. Looking down below, Otto Lopez, 19% strikeout rate versus right-handed pitchers. Pretty good. His batting average, you do see a slight increase to 249, but not bad. And then looking at Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs, not the best matchup of all time, but 16.1% strikeout rate is not terrible. Again, but this is a guy who's just been striking out a lot. 17 of his last 20 games. I gotta assume he's gonna strike out at least once in 4 or 5 at bats. He's gonna strike out at least once. Maybe not Kyle Hendricks. Maybe it's the Cubs bullpen. But either way, I can see a strikeout coming for plus money. Absolutely. All right, guys, third leg of our 6-leg parlay. We're moving on to the Angels-Blue Jays game, 7:07 p.m. first pitch. We've got George Springer of the Blue Jays over half a strikeout. Now, this is one of the alternate lines that you can't, if you want to bet them straight up, I guess you could. The value is not really there, but this is one of the 2 heavy alternate lines I have thrown into this parlay. We're getting this on DraftKings for -195. And the data is really good. 8 of the last 10 games, he's cashed the over, an average of .9 strikeouts per game. Even with the last 20 games, 80% hit rate still, 16 of his last 20 games, with an average of 1.1 strikeouts per game. And in 2024 so far, a 55% hit rate on this over with an average of .81 strikeouts per game. 66 out of 119 games this year, he's cashed the over. So pretty good data across the board there. And if that didn't convince you guys, the head-to-head data is also really fantastic. You see 7 of his last 9 games versus the Angels, he has cashed the over, including if you kind of narrow it just by a game. 7 of his last 8 games, he's cashed the over. I mean, literally just last night, he struck out 2 times in what was a 5-3 win for Toronto last night. Going down below, the insights provided by Outlier, George Springer has exceeded half a strikeout in 16 of his last 19 games at home, with an average of 1.2 strikeouts per game average over that span. So that's another really cool metric to look at. And although we don't have any real pitching data there for George Springer, we do see that versus right-handed pitchers. He has a 19.1% strikeout rate this season. And the right side of the screen, you can see here who's pitching for the Angels. I don't even know if I want to try to announce that name. I'm going to butcher it so bad. Kachanowicz. Okay, we'll go with that. 1-3 record on the year, 6.53 ERA. He's not a very good pitcher, just 3.05 strikeouts per 9. He's only pitched like 20 innings this year, though, for the Angels. Not the best matchup from a pitching standpoint, but he's been striking out so much lately. I got to assume, again, the odds are where they are for a reason. The books make it -195 for a reason. I think we're in a shoe-in for a strikeout here. All right, guys, our 4th leg of our 6-leg parlay. We're moving on to the Royals-Phillies game, 8:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going Salvador Perez of the Kansas City Royals over half a strikeout here. We're getting that for -140 on DraftKings. This is, again, one of the bets that you can bet as a straight bet. It's under -150. That's usually how I go with the channel. My straight bets are -150 or less. So you can bet this as a straight bet. I know it's still a little high on the odds at -140, but it's not that high where you can't bet it straight. He has cashed in 9 of his last 10 games. This is also another one of the props like the Aaron Judge prop where I have bet this prop already this week. I like it. He's been on a good run. We're going to keep riding with it here. 1.1 average strikeouts over the last 10 games. Even the last 20 games, again, really good. 80% hit rate. 16 of his last 20 games, he has cashed the over. an average of 1 strikeout per game. In 2024 so far, a 58% hit rate on this over. 72 out of 124 games this year, he's cashed the over with an average of 0.82 strikeouts per game. Looking at the insights provided by Outlier, Salvador Perez has exceeded half a strikeout in 8 of his last 10 games at home, an average of 1.2 strikeouts per game average. And look at the head-to-head matchup here. That is also really good. Salvador Perez versus Taijuan Walker. Just 2 plate appearances in 2018. No strikeouts off him, but again, only 2 plate appearances. A very small sample size. Looking down both the key matchup splits, though, Perez's batting average versus right-handed pitchers has dropped 10 points at 264. But the most important thing is that strikeout percentage at 20.6%. It's very high. We like to see that there. And look at Taijuan Walker, 21.6% strikeout rate versus right-handed batters. So like I always say, guys, when you see those percentages match, when they're both green and they're both high, well, it sounds like marijuana, but really good matchup there. 20.6% strikeout rate for Perez, 21.6% strikeout rate for Walker. That, to me, is a recipe for a strikeout here. We only need one. I think it's a really solid prop. All right, guys, our 5th leg of our 6-leg parlay here. We're moving on to the White Sox-Tigers game, 8:10 p.m. first pitch, and no more strikeout props here. We got Miguel Vargas under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. We get that for -150 on DraftKings here. Again, you can bet this straight up if you'd like. This will count as a straight bet in the overall prop record. He's cashed it in 10 consecutive games for the White Sox. Over the last 20 games, 95% hit rate, 19 out of 20 games. He has cashed the under. So far in 2024, a 78% hit rate, 36 out of 46 games. He's cashed the under with an average of 1.04 hits, runs, RBIs per game. And the head-to-head data, you see here 2 out of 2 matchups this season versus Detroit. He's cashed the under. Since being traded from the Dodgers, Vargas has really struggled in Chicago, and we're going to go ahead and try and see if we can capitalize off of his struggling and pain. That sounds horrible, but that's just the facts there, and the uncomfortable truth sometimes with sports betting. You're preying on people's downfall. Miguel Vargas has failed to exceed 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 13 straight games, average of just half a hit, run, RBIs per game, really struggling, and he's battling just 137 versus right-handed pitchers this season. Really bad marks, but again, that just means it's really good for us. All right, guys, in the 6th and final leg of today's parlay, we're moving on to the Mets-Padres game, 9:40 p.m. first pitch. We're going Francisco Lindor of the Mets over half a hit. This is the second alternate line in today's parlay. Probably don't want to bet this straight up, but it's a pretty good parlay pick here. Getting on DraftKings here from -205 odds. And like I said, data's fantastic, guys. 9 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over. It's a 90% hit rate with an average of 1.5 hits per game. Over the last 20 games, 90% hit rate. 18 of his last 20 games with an average of 1.45 hits per game. He's had a lot of multi-hit games of late for the Mets. So far in 2024, a 67% hit rate on the over. 86 out of 128 games this year, he's had a hit in a game. An average of 1.09 hits per game this year for the Mets. And the head-to-head data, also really good. 9 of his last 10 games versus the Padres, he's registered a hit, including last night he had 2 hits, and what was it, 8-3 win for the Mets. And if all of that didn't convince you guys, down below it just gets even better. Francisco Lindor versus Joe Musgrove since 2018. 18 plate appearances, a 353 batting average off of him. 6 hits, 824 slugging. Really good numbers there versus Musgrove. Lindor's batting 268 overall this year, but versus right-handed pitchers, you see a slight uptick to 270. Increases in his BA, BIP, and hard-hitting percentage. And although Musgrove's numbers do increase versus left-handed batters in his favor, it's still 274 batting average allowed, which is still a really high mark. All right, guys, so that does it for our parlay today. Quick little recap here of all 6 legs. We have George Springer over half a strikeout. Salvador Perez over half a strikeout. Miguel Vargas under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Francisco Lindor over half a hit. Aaron Judge over 1.5 total bases. And Otto Lopez over half a strikeout. When you parlay all 6 of these legs together on DraftKings, you get a parlay of plus 2,105. You heard that right. We're taking a big swing for the fences, pun intended. Plus 2,105. You put $100 down, even if you put $10 down, you can win a lot of money on this parlay. Guys, take the chance with me. Ride with me on this parlay. You've seen the numbers. We've been red hot lately. Let's see if we can carry it into this parlay here. I feel really comfortable. I feel really strong and positive about this parlay here, guys. And again, no, there will be a little bit of judgment passed on to you, but if you guys do want to just pick and choose what you'd like, of course, that's always your prerogative. You can do what you'd like. I'm just here to give you picks and give you data on what to do. And again, this link will be in the description and the pinned comment. You can go ahead and see what's available. The closest sportsbook is BetMGM. They have 5 out of 6. So you can do this for plus 1208. I'm trying to see which prop they don't have. It looks like maybe the Aaron Judge one. Yeah, it looks like the Aaron Judge one's the only one you can't get on MGM. But the rest of them are available. So, guys, that does it for today's video. Thank you one more time, as always, guys, for watching. And we'll be back tomorrow with another MLB Player Prop video. But until then, I hope you're all winners. Have a fantastic Freaky Friday, guys. Enjoy.